Hi everyone, it's Liz here at the Paper Project and thank you for joining me today. I just wanted to do a video on easy ways that you can bind a journal. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm still seeing a lot of people asking about, ways to bind your journals differently, ways to make this easy because they're still hesitating getting started in making a journal because they're not sure on how to put one together. So I'm just going to show you different ways that I have used, some easy binding techniques to put some things together, and hopefully this will give you some ideas and make it easy to get started. So I'll be showing you how I've used a hole punch, and then I'll also show you an easy binding technique at the end. So this one was made with cardstock, and it is a calendar I made, but you can easily make this a journal as well. You punch your holes depending on your measurements, and you can add ribbon, you can add string, elastics, rings. This one in particular still has the rings on it. It is a hardcover, and it's the same concept, although I could not use the smaller hole punch. I had to use the larger one for the hardcover. You still see, the same idea of punching your holes, adding your pages, and this one with the rings, it's easy to add and take things away. A different way to use the hole punch as well. I'm working on some mixed media journals, and this one in particular I've used with ribbons to bind it, but again using the hole punch just on the inside of the pages. All I really did was make sure that the hole punch reached as far as it could go on either side, and then added my ribbon, and there you go. So this can easily be done. I mean, I've used a paper bag, but you can use a cereal box, cardstock, whatever you've got on hand, as well as a file folder, which is what I've done with this other art journal that I'm working on. So this is just a file folder for the cover. I've used some brass fasteners, and I found these at a thrift store, and they're quite long. So I was trying to think of ways to use them, and I thought, well, I could easily use them to bind something. So again, the same concept of punching the holes. I just used the fasteners to put my pages in, so I can easily add pages and take pages away. So hopefully this has given you some ideas on different ways to use a hole punch to bind journals. The other way is the easy binding technique using, for this one is a hardcover. I will show you at the end how to do this, although there are lots of videos on YouTube on how to do the easy binding method. For this I used thread. I do have 4 signatures inside, and this is an older journal that I made a long time ago, but it was using a hardcover. As you can see, my signatures within this journal are easy to move because they come in and out. And this is actually a sample journal that I used. So you can see here, it comes in and out. So it's almost like the traveler's notebook style, where you can insert your pages or your traveler's notebook and take them away. This one is just for your actual pages that you can do that with. So hopefully this has given some of you some ideas on how to easily put something together. You don't need a lot of equipment to do it, and you can easily get started. I will show you now how to do the easy binding, and hopefully this will help. So for this particular one, I'm using this hardcover. I will be using, I think this is crochet thread to bind it, but you can always use elastic, ribbon, whatever you have on hand that you want to use. The length that you need is basically you measure your spine, and then you double the string that you will be using, or ribbon, per signature. So you start from the back to the front. So as you can see, I've wrapped the crochet thread here, left a little tail on the front, which I'll use to secure it later. And then from the back to the front, I'm just wrapping the thread around. I will be doing this for 4 signatures, so that's how many times I'll be wrapping it around the cover. And this one here coming up would be my last one that I'll be wrapping around. So as you can see, I started with this one, ended with this one. And now what you'll do is you'll just cross them over each other, as you can see here. And then one of the ends you will put through the back of all the strings or thread. So again, you cross it over, and then you will grab one end and kind of push it along the back of everything else to bring it to the other side. And then here's where you will be making your knot to tighten it. Now, if you wanted to secure this a little more, you would make sure that your binding is a little bit tighter from the top and the bottom, but this, just for time's sake to show you, I didn't do that. And then you'll just tie your knot, or you don't have to, do anything else, but just make sure that it's nice and secure. And then you'll start to divide your string or ribbon so that it's evenly spaced outside and on the inside. So as you can see here is where you would put your signatures through each string. Now this, if you were using this cover, you would reinforce the spine, but again, just for time's sake and to show you, that's just the way to use the easy binding. So hopefully this helped, gave you some ideas. You get started and enjoy making junk journals.